Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, the strong style nerd, strong style cinephile, Stargirl Season 1 finale. It is here, it has happened. I watched it a few times and I just want to geek about it for a scant few minutes. I'll probably jump around a little bit more than I normally do just to kind of get into some of the things that I liked about it, because I mean, we saw some things, we learned some things, and there's some good things and some bad things that happened in this Season 1 finale. It's been a pretty much great freshman season for Stargirl. There's been very, very few missteps. I will go to bat in a discussion with anybody who would challenge me on my stance that there has been no middle of the season, like dragging filler, well, not filler, but just like slow drag episode like we see often in the streaming network shows, particularly, again, as I've said before, the Marvel Netflix shows. They have those just 2 episodes in the middle where it was just kind of like, oh my god, what is going on? This sucks. This is a drag. I can do without these episodes. Stargirl, for my money, didn't have it. Was it perfect? No. Were there some egregious missteps? Mostly the biggest one to me being, let's ignore the fact that Brainwave Jr. killed the lawyer dude en route to his, sort of redemption and sacrifice that he made. But still, he killed somebody. He's made him have a seizure. And we just glossed over that. So outside of that misstep, and maybe just a few other small things, it's been a great season. And I've seen people on message boards say that they can just take the season as it was as a whole, and think of it as just a big long like a mini series, like a longer, like a maxi series or something like that. They don't necessarily need to continue on to watching it on the CW, where a lot of us who have reacted to that news that they're going to go exclusively to CW have reacted not so positively. We're worried about what's going to happen when it goes on CW. But that's neither here nor there. We are talking about the finale. And in the finale, the Junior JSA goes head-to-head with the ISA in a bid to stop their mind control plans. And that's basically the gist of the episode. It picks up a little bit after events of the first part, season finale, where we find out that this machine that takes over people's minds, it can only affect advanced, fully developed minds, which of course is adults. It gives the setup to have Pat against Courtney for a little bit of time, and why Pat necessarily had to fight Courtney, that I didn't get. I mean, I get it because we need to have heroes fighting each other. It's just a standard comic book staple or whatever. But while all the other adults that we see around the principal at the school after he broke up the fight between the the virtuoso / fiddler's son and the boy who was bullying him, because we know in the last episode, before she died, she told him, hey, stand up to your bullies, use your musical instrument if you need to, which the kid did. He hit the kid with the tuba. The principal comes in, breaks it up, and then the principal's like mind scrambled or whatever. We see a father downtown with his daughter, and the daughter happened to be Tony Stark's daughter from Endgame. I didn't pick it up the first time around, just noticed it when I saw it on like Reddit and stuff like that. Jordan comes to her and tells her that when people wake up, they're going to be better people, they're going to be good people, and think better and be better. But while all the adults were just kind of frozen in place, Pat tries to kill Courtney. And if they would have just had like a throwaway line, this like where Brainwave says something about, because he's reaching into everybody's mind, so of course he has Pat's mind. If he just said something about using Pat to kill Courtney and having that fail, like when he leaves the Fox X-Men Cerebro chamber to go help, he could have just said something about, he tried to use Pat to kill Courtney, didn't, so now he's got to go do it himself. That would give him another reason to go do it himself. Otherwise, it's just Pat's trying to kill Courtney for whatever reason, while all the other adults were frozen in place. It gave us a moment to have Courtney tell Pat how she feels about him, how he's always been there for her, and just really her acceptance of him in her life as her, not just, as her stepfather. He is her stepfather, but kind of in that beyond stepfather type of role. She's accepting him in that capacity. So it was a nice scene to see. Both Luke Wilson, as he continues to kill it in his role as Pat Dugan, played it well. Brett Bassinger played it well. Another thing that was kind of done well, and I'm still on the fence about whether or not it was done well or not, was Rick and Yolanda, because Rick has been on just this track the entire season of wanting to get at Solomon Grundy to kill Solomon Grundy for killing his parents. I understand that. revenge that's been driving him this entire season. And again, he says when they're through with this mind control machine thing, he's gonna go rip the door off, go kill Grundy. And then Yolanda says it's wrong to kill and kind of challenges him on why he wants to do that. Then in the end, you have you have Rick battling Solomon Grundy, and he goes from, you just almost feel bad for Grundy in that scene, because he goes from like this raging monster to this kind of frightened man-child almost, that Rick more or less feels pity for as opposed to rage. Like his rage gives way to just pity on Grundy, and he actually like lets him go. And Yolanda encounters Brainwave, who tries to pass himself off as Brainwave Jr. to, find out their plan or just to stab him in the back or whatever. And Yolanda figures it out because she's Brainwave, as Brainwave Jr. says, he's been hiding amongst zombies all this time. Now we can stop the ISA. Let's get back to, we're your friends. And then Yolanda like slashes him in the throat. And that's the tell for her that it's not Henry Jr. Because she's like, they were Henry's friends too. Which I'm like, no, they weren't at any point in time. There's no time for them to bond and become friends and get over the fact that Henry was a dick up until this point. So I didn't really like that. I understand why they tried to justify it in that moment, but it just didn't work. And then the fact that Yolanda say killing is wrong, and then just do it with just reckless abandon, not even just thinking about it. She just comes across as very, very cold and callous, like in that moment. I mean, it's really scary in that moment. Now, whether or not there's lasting repercussions for her, mentally, emotionally, for what she did, that remains to be seen how they handle that. If there's lasting repercussions, the other kids find out, especially Rick, when she's like trying to tell Rick killing is wrong, and then she ends up doing it, that needs to cause some friction. There should be some friction with her and the rest of the team because of that, because they're heroes, they're do-gooders, and she, villain or not, Brainwave's a total tool, he's a bad guy, but just the way that she took him out, I think there needs to be discussion on that. There needs to be consequences to that. It shouldn't just be something we sweep under the rug, like Henry Jr. killing the attorney. Will they do something about it? Remains to be seen in the future. But I think it's just, at this point, it rubbed me the wrong way the first time I saw it, and upon another viewing, it's still like it does. Just something about it, just the way the execution of it. I'm just not feeling it. We have the JSA fight, the junior JSA fight, the ISA in the cave. It was cool, mostly to see them kind of split off. You have Tigers take on Wildcat, Yolanda. Courtney battles against Icicle. Rick battles Sportsmaster. Shining Knight, Sir Justin the janitor, battles Dragon King. Dragon King ends up getting killed by Cindy. So again, it goes back to what many of us have said as the season gone on, that a lot of the reason why the ISA is going to fail is because they are cannibalizing each other and ruining things for each other, which in this case, Cindy being Cindy, kills her dad. And I'm hoping this really puts an end to any sort of redemption, because I kept seeing like redemption talk on like Reddit and a few other boards. There was like, they were seeing a path to redemption for Cindy. Like, no, just no. Let's let some people let's let bad guys be bad guys and be done with it. And Courtney going Super Saiyan and taking out Icicle the way she did, it was a team effort to take out Icicle, but the way she pretty much took out Sportsmaster and Tigers. I'd said that on my response to the episode. Somebody kind of says that she facilitated the coordination of the team to help, take them down, but I don't know, it was just kind of like a zero to hero moment for Courtney. She's getting battered around, and she looks up, she sees her friends getting taken out, and then she just springs into action, zero to hero, and, they're down in this dog pile on Icicle until Solomon Grundy comes out and breaks things up. So it's one of those things that it's cool, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well. So it was cool the first time, upon repeat viewing and just thinking about it more, it's just kind of like, could have been handled just a little bit better. Solomon Grundy being freed allows Jordan to escape, to the American Dream to try to stop Beth and Barbara. Beth is, of course, using the goggles to try to hack into the ISA systems and stop their mind control stuff. He breaks in there, says no more Dr. Midnight, freezes the goggles, effectively killing Dr. Midnight. Beth tries to physically accost him, which is just useless. She's useless physically in a fight. She gets blasted into the wall, and Jordan takes Beth up to the top of the building to show her just what he was wanting to do, show her his vision. And in that moment, you can kind of see he unravels quite a bit just from his demeanor. He's not this calm, collected, suave, almost sort of calculating guy. He's just desperate, grasping at straws, and he ends up trying to, make a pass at Barbara in that moment. And then Barbara rejects him, and he's like, I'm going to kill you and kill your daughter, and all those kind of, evil things. Next thing you know, Pat shows up, Courtney gets knocked off the building, Icicle gets knocked off the building, Barbie gets knocked over the edge, Pat saves her, Yolanda saves Courtney, and then Mike runs over Icicle in the truck, effectively killing him. But is he really dead? Probably not. But that was basically the end of the battle. And then we fast forward to weeks later. That was effectively the end of the battle, and as things kind of wrap up, Barbara is wondering kind of what people are going to say about what happened, and then Pat says they always come up with something. Of course, who is they? Is they a clandestine organization that covers up superhero activities, and that's why nobody's really heard of the JSA? Because that was a point of contention with some of the message boards that I frequent, is why haven't anybody really heard about the JSA? Maybe this clandestine organization, maybe it's like an Argus, or like a Checkmate, or like a Spiral, or just any other alphabet sort of organization that covers up this type of thing, so it doesn't get out to the public, and the public panics, and all that kind of stuff. It's probably one of those things. They come up with an earthquake and some other cover stories. We see Shade back in the ISA bunker saying basically, hey Jordan, I told you this was a stupid idea, and you failed. Look at you. I hadn't read much on some of the interviews that were going on, because there were interviews that were kind of spoiling the season finale and parts of maybe some of season 2. Going back now, unless I'm misremembering, there was an interview with Luke Wilson where he discusses that Shade will be a featured villain in season 2. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, we see the scene with Cindy, where she's going through some storage, and then she finds this little diamond thing, which she says, "I see you in there, Eclipso." Eclipso as a villain is very, very interesting, and potentially could be fun for season 2, depending upon if it goes that direction. Hopefully these are not just random stuff thrown in there, that they will be plot threads that are further explored in the second season, much like the Pen, the Thunderbolt, Jakeem, who Mike mentioned earlier in the season, the Lantern for Green Lantern. Hopefully these things aren't just fluff and just cool, fan service, that they'll actually pay off in the second season. But again, that's stuff to worry about as we move to the CW. And then we go 6 weeks later. It's Christmas time. We get 6 minutes left of the episode of just cheesy bonding stuff with they're cooking together. Then it's Polaroid picture. Courtney goes off because the staff comes to get her. Courtney goes flying off the staff, lands on the water tower. Pat lands in Stripe, and then it's just a nice visual kind of moment for them. But it was very, very cheesy, and it was 6 minutes. I mean, the rest of the episode kind of felt, a lot of stuff happened, and it felt rushed, which was to be expected on some levels. But I was just like, do we have to have that long? Because the first 2 episodes are 53 and 54 minutes, and then every episode after that is 43, 44, 41. So it's not a lot of screen time, and we took a good 6 minutes with this this cheesy family bonding type of stuff. Did we really need it to be that long? Could we have had those 3 minutes maybe 3 minutes of it go to other stuff, be it more fight stuff, or just other kind of JSA versus ISA stuff, whether or not it's, and I understand maybe the budget was just totally ran through at that point in time, because you had Stripe, you had a lot of Solomon Grundy, some other stuff going on, so there was a lot of the CG budget was probably just tapped out at that point. But still, just could we have done something more and less, cheese? Of course, also in the wrap up, we got Sir Justin leave. He's going off to find the Seven. He feels kind of bad about himself because he came back to Blue Valley to slay the dragon, being the Dragon King. He didn't get a chance to. Cindy killed Dragon King, so he feels like a failure. Pat gives him a pep talk. He says he's going to find his horse and then find the Seven. So again, hopefully that's not a plot thread that's just, you know, thrown out there for the sake of throwing it out there. Hopefully they explore it and elaborate on it further in season 2. Again, it's just, what are they going to do in season 2? All in all, it was a good, fun finale, a fun finale two-parter. It was a good freshman season for Stargirl. It was great performances all season long from Luke Wilson and from Beck Bassinger. The chemistry between the Junior JSA was great. You had just the snippy stuff between the ISA. Had a great villain in Icicle. Until they started to unravel, kind of came out of nowhere. But still, for the most part, just great. Like I said, it was just a great first season, inaugural freshman season of Stargirl. Look forward to more of it. If it sucks on going forward on CW, we can still take these 13 episodes and just look at it as just one long maxi series and just take it for that. Just view it in that sort of one season, 13 episode miniseries type of bubble of outlook, and be fine with it. Hopefully, when it goes to CW, it doesn't suck. Hopefully, and people are just swearing up and down that the budget's not going to change. We don't know. I think it's going to change. We don't know what the episode count is, so all that's going to affect the budget and the quality, and just so many unknown things. And people looking at it with like these rose-colored glasses, thinking that it's just going to stay perfect and stay the same as the first season. I don't think so. It remains to be seen what all happens. But again, it was a great first season. It was Stargirl, as I've said many shows, is one of the best superhero shows that's come along in a long time. Hopefully the quality continues. If you missed it, go back and watch it on demand, I guess on CW, on CW's app, definitely on DC Universe. Got to catch that before it dies. But yeah, anyway, those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. Scattered, really scattered on this one. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. We got no more Stargirl, but there's plenty of other geeky stuff going on, thankfully, to talk about. And we'll be doing that in future videos. So until then, let us geek.